everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Alleged Actually Podcast. I am joined today by my Bravo bestie, Joey. What's up, Joey?
Hello.
Hello. So, y'all, tonight we do our recap on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I am super duper excited to get into that. But before we do, excuse me, I'd like to do my little admin notes and get those out of the way. If you are new, welcome. Over here, we do reality TV recaps, and we get into occasionally some pop culture, deep dives, all that. So check us out. There's some episodes that I did a crossover with the True Crime podcast, Sins and Survivors, on the Asher Mon case. That one is still growing and getting views, so check it out if that's your thing. But yeah, so if you like that kind of thing, reality TV recaps, pop culture, you found your home. So do us a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Share with a friend. Please give us the thumbs up. Like these videos, y'all. That's important. That's how we get pushed out in the algorithm. YouTube is tripping. So help your Bravo besties out, okay?
Please.
Yes, please. And always slide in our comments. Let's chat. Let's talk about these shows that we love. So Joey, what did you think? We're going to get into the recap. I just want to know, what did you think about the episode, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I mean, it was another winner. I mean, they are absolutely insane.
They are.
They never disappoint, you know? And it's just, I mean, I don't know where they found this group of women. I don't know how they found this group of women. I mean, it is TV gold.
It absolutely is TV gold, y'all. I mean, you don't even have to, like from scene to scene. I mean, it is always some gem that's dropped, something crazy, something hilarious. I mean, they do it and they don't ever disappoint from week to week. So, gotta say, favorite franchise. And I never thought we'd be here, but this is what
I know. Remember when they announced Salt Lake City and everybody was like, Utah,
I know, right?
And Mormons, what? What are we gonna watch? And then look what we have.
They are bringing it, honey. They are bringing it. So there's that. But before we get in our recap, real quick, guys, I'm sure a lot of you, like we did, watched the episode of Wife Swap with Melissa Gorga and the Clark family. Joey, let's just preface this with Joey not being a very not a fan of Melissa Gorga.
No, but as our avid Melissa hater, here I am. I went on social media, put my tail between my legs, and gave her credit. I mean, she was phenomenal. I was blown away. I think that we talked about this a little bit earlier before we started recording, but I feel like when you take these women out of their toxic franchises, they can let their hair down a little bit and be themselves. And we saw glimpses of old school Melissa that before she was a crazy person, in my opinion. She was loving and she was funny and she was kind and she rolled with the punches. I mean, I thought she was amazing. I thought she was absolutely amazing. I thought the family that they picked, I don't know where they found these families. I don't know how they applied, but this family was, way better than the first family. I mean,
I agree.
I thought the husband was incredible. The woman, Michelle, I mean, give her own show. Get the cameras rolling. I mean, she was absolutely incredible. Joe still annoyed me always. I think he's very over the top. It comes off very fake to me for the cameras, but whatever. But Melissa, I was super, super impressed. I mean, she was, I thought, a 10 out of 10.
I agree. I really enjoyed the episode. I was telling Joey, it even made me tear up. Her relationship with the little one, Maverick, it was so sweet. The details of her, even when she wanted to do her pasta night, everything was vegan. She was very kind. I mean, even myself, I'm not as OCD as she is, but I went into a house in that disarray, but she rolled right with it. And then I loved the tips that she gave on organization. And what I think, because I love me some Angie K, but I thought this episode was better because of the way that the two families really impacted each other. Because when Melissa and Michelle went outside to do their talk, and Melissa was like, to be that chaos. Like, look at that, must be exhausted. And then immediately Michelle starts to cry.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool because, they each had each other back. That's the whole point of Wife Swap. And I just thought it was great. I mean, all of it. Kudos to you, Melissa. That was a good one. And I'm wondering now, we only have Emily's episode and Dr. Wendy. Are we going to get that same warmth, nurturing? I don't know.
I think that Emily will be like she normally is, like a comic relief. I think that Emily will be funny. I cannot see Emily nor Wendy being as go with the flow, like loving, and really just like throwing themselves into like the experience like we saw from Angie or Melissa.
I agree with you 1,000%. And if that's wrong, y'all, I will happily come back here and apologize and say I was wrong. But in my heart of hearts, I just don't see it for those two. They just don't give that same, because even without seeing them on the episode, that's something I know about both of those ladies. They really, family oriented. They love their children. I'm not saying that Emily and Wendy don't. I'm saying you don't see. It's just a difference, child. Listen,
it is.
We'll see. It's a difference. And so I'll be interested. But now we're going to get into what we are here to do tonight, which is talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 7. The ladies are on the yacht. So we have the Below Deck and Real Housewives crossover that needed to happen.
And let me tell you, I don't watch Below Deck. I know it's like a very unpopular opinion, so I not watch it. But my boyfriend's like obsessed. So I will say, though, I am excited to watch the other side of things, because they tease that this upcoming season of Below Deck, they're going to have the same episode with Salt Lake City Housewives, but from like the Below Deck side of things. And I cannot wait, because this episode was complete chaos.
It was so crazy, y'all. I happen to be a Below Deck fan. I don't watch every one of them as closely. I'm huge on Captain Lee. I'll do Captain Sandy. And I like Captain Jason because he's hot. I mean, let's be clear. So there's that. But so the episode opens at the airport, and there is no Bronwyn. So we find out she's not going to fly with the ladies. She'll meet them later in, how do you say it? Canwan. Is that correct?
Something like that.
Yeah, I just couldn't, the spell. I was like, Canwan. I'm going to say Canwan, y'all. Slide in the comments. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just how I'm saying. So Whitney basically says, look, y'all, I mean, in all honesty, she wasn't surprised, because she was damned if she did and damned if she didn't, because the truth was, honey, they were going to talk about her whether she was there or whether she wasn't. So
yep. And let me tell you right now, kudos to her for even going on like the trip. I probably wouldn't have even gone.
Same, Joey, same. I mean, Bronwyn, she's a real one. The fact that she can take her licks, she can own her stuff, or even if, stand up, whatever. I mean, like, she's not scared. And even though she was a little bit nervous about coming on this trip, and I think a lot of that had to do too with Todd, because as we talked about last week, I was basically like, hey, I don't think you should go. I mean, what you want, but I don't see why you would feel the need to go on a vacation to fly off with women like that, or, you and Lisa are going to get into it. But if you go, don't come back to me. I don't think it.
Right, when it inevitably hits the fan, don't call me.
Don't. And I mean, he meant that, y'all. You could tell his face was like, So the ladies, then we get to the scene where they're getting on board. They're greeted by the Below Decks Captain Jason, who is the Captain Hottie, and Heather is grinning from ear to ear. Child, listen. And we'll get to it, but Heather was a bit obnoxious. She tried to play coy, but y'all, listen.
Did she try to play it coy? Because she was
just kind of off
a disaster. Chain. Someone should have got her together, because it was not. She looked ridiculous.
Her pick-me spirit came back out, y'all. That pick-me spirit came out, because she was acting extremely pick-me and so thirsty. I was like, girl, get off that man like
Yeah.
that. What's up?
Dehydrated.
Completely. IV needed.
But you know what? Still, the best greet, we're going to give it to Lisa Barlow, who said she's going to be the lowest maintenance guest.
I was like, girl, yes. I said, okay. She sure did, honey, y'all. She tried it, you know. So there's that. Angie K, you know, she gets in, and that was Lisa's thing. And Angie was kind of just wanting to like embrace it. This is her first time on a yacht, y'all. She's hugging all of the staff, and Lisa's like,
she's so cute.
She's adorable. And Lisa's like, look at her. She's going back through. She just wants attention. Like, girl, leave Angie alone. Honey. Let her soak up all this. And y'all, can I just say this? I felt so bad for Angie on this episode. Good gracious.
I would have been like, get me that like little, whatever they call like that little boat, and like
those
get
tenders
me
and get me off, right? She was a great sport to just lay there and suffer. Mary was an amazing friend. I don't know, y'all out there, if you've ever been seasick, y'all, it's a bad feeling. My thing is, yeah, you're on a yacht, and you know, you never know, because seasickness can hit you if you're not an avid boater. Why didn't have Dramamine on board? Because
that's so funny. So here's me, who like would never get on like a boat. Like I don't care if it's a cruise ship. I don't care if it's I don't care what it is. It's just not for me. No,
oh gosh,
not for me. I feel like I'm stuck on like a boat. My brother-in-law has a boat. Him and my sister, it has a bedroom, bathroom.
nice.
They've been together for 13 years. I have been on it one time while it was at the dock.
Really?
To congratulate them when they got engaged, and I've never been on it again. Like that was it. Like nope, not for me. But again, my boyfriend, I'm sorry to keep talking about him, but he was like, why wouldn't they have things on the boat in case someone gets seasick? Like even those like wristbands or the pressure points, like something.
Right. I mean, that would be an essential, I would think. I couldn't believe that. It
weird.
To me, very, very, very strange. But nonetheless, apparently they didn't have it, but she was a trooper.
I'm sure they had 2003 Dom Perignon and they didn't have any Dramamine.
I mean, right. You know what I mean? So they made sure they had that preference sheet taken care of, but no Dramamine. So I did. I felt so bad for her. That is an awful feeling, by the way. So in confessional, Angie says, you know, look, she's going to keep her distance from Lisa. You know, this is her first time on the yacht. She's excited. Lisa's energy is like, you know, trying to drag her down. So she's going to stay away. She's like, or maybe I can stand next to her so my ankles will look smaller. And I was like, there's that shade. Boop.
And it's so it's so like, it just easily rolls off like the lips. And it's not like just Angie. Salt Lake City has a way of just like, they just like throw these things out off like the top of like their heads, and it is just so funny. And this is what Housewives are missing. Housewives are missing humor.
Yes, I agree.
And even though Salt Lake City has a ton of drama, it's still so incredibly funny.
It is. The drama itself truly is funny to me.
Yeah.
You know how like other ones, you know, are getting backlash about how it goes dark. With them, you know, it's just so silly. It's funny. And then, like you said, every last one of them have had moments when they're heated or they're in confessionals and they say something, and it is so freaking funny. Y'all, that is
A1. I haven't laughed at a Housewives franchise like Salt Lake probably since like Dallas. And like when Dallas ended, I was like, oh, well, that's it. Now we're just stuck with a bunch of toxicity. And like, thank God for Salt Lake.
Yeah, the only other one that used to make me laugh, and probably not for the right reasons, was Old School New York, because, child, when they were torn up, listen, Dorinda, I can't. Y'all, I would have a Fields Day, but not for the right reasons, because that was kind of sad, but y'all, it was so freaking funny. But anyway, I digress. Y'all, and then can we talk about Brittany and her thirstiness? She loves a man, don't she?
Yeah, I mean, she's like a disaster. But like, first of all, I don't really understand like how they figured out like the room situation, because like And I understand, like, Heather and Whitney, you know, bad weather. And I understand, like, Lisa and Meredith are, like, one person sometimes.
Sure.
But, like, to put Brittany in a room with Bronwyn just felt, like, so purposely shady to me. I mean, and it wasn't even, like, a big room. Like, they ain't got, like, no suite. It's just, like, a bed. And you guys are going to share a bed and sit together. You guys are going to, like it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay.
Ugh.
But, you know, true to form, Brahma's a good sport. You know, she was like, okay. And Brittany was, you know, a little bit weirded out. But yeah, those were my next parts. You know, our cabin pairings. You said it right. Yep. Whitney, Heather in the primary. And God knows, Heather wouldn't let anybody forget she's the primary, which is a big deal.
I guess. I mean, nothing really changes about it, like the trip.
No, it's just you're kind of supposedly the in charge guest. Like, I guess, Joe. I think she just has a thing for Captain Jason. At any rate, she reminds everyone, particularly talking about Heather, she reminds everyone she's actually friends with Captain Jason. And you know, she wants everybody to be on their best behavior. Brittany lets her know that she's kind of feeling Captain Jason. And she's like, oh, okay, you know, what about Jared? So officially, y'all, starting on that day was her 30-day break from Jared. So she's determined whether it's Captain Jason, a deckhand,
Take
child,
two on the 30-day.
Right, take two.
Because, was like girl. Ugh.
Yeah. So at this point, they're talking about the 30-day break, and then the ladies are telling her, okay, look, if this is before they go to lunch, I don't know, but she said when we get to lunch we'll talk about how she's saying, you know, honestly, I'm doing a 30-day break. And everybody's like, okay, if she mentions Jared, though, the rule is they get to pour water on her, and they do.
And they do.
All right, so now, y'all, Bronwyn is coming. She's getting ready to board. She's on a speedboat wearing her inflatable dress, joining the ladies. I know. Love,
you know, in the words of Luann de Lesseps, money can't buy you class. And I mean, it's just, and I love Bronwyn. I love her odd style. I think it can be cheeky. This was ridiculous.
It was.
The fact
and apparently
that Lisa pointed out she had seen that outfit many a time before, and sure enough, there goes production on cue. Every time she's on a boat, she posts in the same outfit.
I know. It's kind of, I dare say tacky. It was. Yeah, it was. But generally speaking, you know, Brahma gives a pass for me because she's one of those girls that can push the envelope, and she does it well. It seems very artsy. She just seems, you know, she's that girl. But that one was like, no, ma'am.
No, put that in the back of the closet with the hot dog costume.
Please. I can't. Yeah. So she says that she's nervous about, rightfully so, about, you know, joining them on the trip because she's convinced someone in the group has leaked the allegations, and she knows that they have been talking about her behind her back. And as soon as she gets there, Brittany's asking her, like, you know, well, what's up? I mean, you know, you didn't join us. I mean, she gets in there, she greets everybody, but the crux of it is Brittany starts asking her when they get to their room, why didn't you join us? You know, and she's like, well, I almost didn't come. And then that's when she kind of talks about how Todd is just like, listen, he can't have this foolishness. We find out, honey, he's very serious about his business. He has serious people he works with. Everything is so serious. He's serious. Everybody's serious around Todd. So Todd can't be bothered with this foolishness, okay?
But you know what? Kudos to Bronwyn, because I feel like she really took Brittany's questions, like,
she did.
You know, super, like, well. She wasn't frustrated by the questions. She answered them the best that she could. I mean, and mind you, she doesn't even really like Brittany. So, like, I felt like I was, like, really impressed with how she handled Brittany asking all these questions.
Me too. And I mean, she said it to Brittany, and then she says the same thing to the group when they, you know, confront her at lunch. And we'll get to that. but Brittany does specifically say, you know, the grand theft case, is that real? And she's like, nope, it was from a decade ago, tied to work in this still. And so she says that the ladies were manipulative and mean. And she said, which I found shocking, that no one called to ask if she was okay except for Mary.
Yeah, weird, right?
You would have thought Whitney, I don't know, Heather's iffy, but
yeah, but Heather's also extremely nosy. So I would have assumed that Heather would have been the first person to call her.
True. Or Angie, you know, well, Angie and Bronwyn, they're good.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, so I would have thought, but no, nobody but Mary. So, and we have Brittany still over there flirting with the staff after they get all them with that. So now we're doing the lunch. But go ahead.
But before we get to the lunch, who do you think packed that big cucumber?
You know what? I still, because like when they actually get to the scene where the staff finds it, where some of it had been cut off, I was trying to like look really hard to see whose room I thought it was. To me, it looked like Bronwyn and Brittany's room. So I'm thinking maybe, was it Brittany? And
I have no idea.
You know, and then Angie says, you know, they're going to blame me because cucumbers are in Greek salad. My thoughts, or Meredith said it wasn't her or whatever, because I thought, well, maybe it could be Meredith or Lisa because they wanted the cucumber to put on their eyes.
The ship wouldn't have had cucumbers?
Sure. That was really strange. I don't know. And then it could have been Mary's quirky. Could have been Mary's. But she didn't own up to it.
But also, like, when you travel like international, there's like major rules about like
food,
about like agriculture, fruits and vegetables and plants and like whatever. So some contraband.
It was, and it was weird contraband, and I was like, that was a good sized cucumber. But girls, look at anyway. It just, yeah, to me, I thought, now if you wanted something like that, you can do that. I mean, a cucumber. Or if you, yeah, they could have had him on the ship, child. I don't know about that one. So, basically, we now go to the lunch scene, and they all sit down, and Heather's like, you know, we're having lunch, and look, y'all, Bronwyn is here, and Whitney is like, you know, is everything okay? Because you know Whitney, she's gonna get it popping, right? Bronwyn lays it all out. She said, look, Todd didn't even want me to come. He's tired of the rumors. And she says, the stories are not true. Someone is digging and leaking. Y'all, Lisa jumps in there. And see, at first, when I first watched it, I was like, girl. And then I saw her and watched What Happens Live, and we'll get to that too. And I felt kind of bad for her, but I watched it again last night, and I thought, no, ma'am. The way she jumped in there, like, girl, wasn't nobody saying you? And she's like, oh, she jumps in. Nobody here would do that. And everybody's looking at her, and then, you know, she goes from that to saying, you know, nobody would leak anything like that. Certainly not out of retaliation. I mean, it happened to me, but, you know, nobody would do it to you. And I'm like, girl. And everybody's just kind of looking at her like, because Bronwyn never said you. Both Heather and Whitney are both like, you're making yourself look guilty in their confessionals. And watch What Happens Live. She acts like there was more to the story that must have been edited out. What are your thoughts, Joey?
So I had a little bit of like the opposite reaction. So when I first watched it, I was like, well, actually, when I watched like the whole episode, I know we're going to get into like the big fight at the end, but at first I was like, oh God, she's so guilty. Like, she's just selling herself up the river. Like, how embarrassing. I can't wait for her to watch this back and be like, ugh, you know? And then I watched What Happens Live. And I mean, honestly, like, she was like really good. She answered, I feel like, all the questions like really, really well. I don't know if it was like PR training. I don't know if like whatever. I watched the episode back last night again as the same thing. And when I watched it back, I don't know. I got a different vibe. Maybe watching her What Happens Live, or maybe it's in my head because social media is really divided on this.
Yeah.
Well, again, we'll get to like the big fight at the end, but
yeah,
her reaction to me, I felt differently about it the first time I watched it versus the second time.
Yeah.
I'm very, very torn if she is the villain or if she's the victim. I really am.
I have some thoughts on that too. And we'll get to that big fight.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it. We'll chop that up because I also have some conflicting thoughts as well. Like I said, the two Heather in confessionals like pipe down, you're revealing yourself. And Whitney in confessionals like, no one even accused you, bitch. You gave yourself away. All right. Lisa's just so annoyed by it. She's like, I can't even take it. So at this point, she's like, look, it's hot. Let's just all go swimming because this is just. So they go swimming. Things lighten up a little bit on this scene. You know, everybody's having a good time, except for our poor little Angie. So she's out in the water, and they're on what Lisa does not know what a swan is.
When I tell you, I was cackling. And the fact that she just kept calling the swan float a duck over and over and over again, yes. I was like in tears. I was like laughing. So every time she said it, I would laugh harder.
I was laughing too. I was like, even when somebody, I can't remember who was said, yeah, you know, I'll take the swan. She's like, oh yeah, the duck. I was like, girl.
No. Because if you've never seen a swan before, it was so funny. However, as Brittany's on the swan and she's like floating away and they're like, oh, can you go save our friend? No, let her keep floating, please.
Right?
Oh, that was our chance.
I know. But now, here's this thing too, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Joey. So it was clear that Brittany had made her affections for Captain Jason known. Okay. The fact that she would like to pursue him if he was into her. Whatevs. Okay. You know, and Heather was encouraging it. So now we're in the water. Captain Jason's in the water with them. And they're on a floaty and she's on his back and she's like, I'll ride him like a Bronco. And at this point, in this scene, Brittany is sitting on the boat watching and could hear it. And she was like, oh, what'd she say? So when Heather gets in, now granted, the drinks have been flowing, but when Heather gets off of the floaty, they get out of the water. She did make that comment about Captain Jason in, you know, flirty, joking manner. She's like, what is that? You know, you're canoodling with Captain Jason. And she was like, oh girl, listen, we were friends, you know, we effed around, but it didn't go anywhere. And she's like, you effed around? She's like, yeah, you know, but she's like, okay, well, no, that's like, literally, like, she's like, that's not how I even get down. So it's like, if, you know, she tried to downplay it, but in my opinion, she was stating her claim in her little coy way. Not even coy.
No, not even coy. And nor do I think that they effed around. I think that she's trying to do like that thing. I forget what it was, where you like speak it into like the existence. You know what I'm talking about? No, yeah. And not for nothing, Captain Jason is such a smoke show. Except for that bosun, I don't know what his name is. The one that Brittany was talking to at the end and was like, "Oh, are you going to be around for dinner later?"
Yeah.
Now that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was watching him and I was like, Captain Jason, who?
I know. Captain Jason's starting to like get like a little dad bod now. I mean, I was like, but he's fine. But I was like, no.
I love a dad bod.
Honey, I got a dad bod. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, there were some hotter options on the boat.
Yeah,
for sure. But I was like, that's grimy, Heather. Like, ew. And I don't even like Brittany. And I thought, ew, that's so gross. And no. One thing about Captain Jason, though, I will say, he does love a housewife. He gets around. So the fact that she does reveal that the way that she's friends with him because when her and Whitney were in Australia, I guess they hung out with him or whatever. Now, I know for a fact, our sweet little Adriana, however you guys pronounce her name, over at Miami, made it known that her and Captain Jason definitely hooked up.
Yep.
Ashley from Potomac had an opportunity to hook up with him at BravoCon, and that's when she brought it up, like, girl, like, don't be going with my man. So he likes a housewife, so it's not far-fetched. If Heather was down, maybe he didn't want anybody to know, but I mean, Whitney's married. She's the hotter option, but I don't know.
I just don't see it. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all let us know what you think. You think that Captain Jason and Heather hooked up, or you think that's just a fantasy in her mind? So let us know. At this point, y'all, they bring Angie in. She's throwing up the whole time they're bringing her in. I felt so bad. And this is a little out of order because this is when Heather was also being brought back in. She's holding on to the deckhand's leg, and poor Angie is just throwing up. It's awful. So, she's just not having a good time, which is sad. Your first time on a yacht and you're seasick and you can't even enjoy the food, the drinks.
I know.
It is so sad, but at any rate, later, Bronwyn and Whitney talk privately, and Bronwyn is convinced Lisa's behind the leaks. And she points out that a Twitter troll called her Conwyn Fraudboard. Y'all, that's so...
Come on, it's a good one.
It was a great one, right? And she was like, I find it, not a coincidence that Lisa used the same nickname when we had our fight at Amy's. Joey, I disagree. She called her Fraudwyn. She didn't say Conwyn. Lisa called her Fraudwyn.
Oh, you know what? You are right.
Right.
And you know what's funny is that was like the one thing that was really confusing me on my opinion about like who was to blame.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like putting two and two together in like real time. All those women were at that party.
They sure were. And
maybe misquoted Lisa as a setup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, maybe these internet people, maybe we are onto something. Maybe Lisa is being framed.
You know what? As much as I was like, she seemed guilty, but I think one thing that we also have to consider about Lisa gets so frazzled by anything. First of all, she cannot take any kind of criticism, constructive or otherwise. It sends her into a tailspin. So what may have looked like her flying off the handle in guilt could have just been her flying off the handle, period. And so, I don't know. I mean, is she incapable of it? No, she's capable of it.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Because the thing with the whole jewelry thing, her speaking with the jeweler, Emma, I mean, she did do that to try to, on the reunion, discredit Bronwyn. She did. But this is a different thing. I mean, these are things that were on the internet. And when they get into the fight, we'll talk about what she's saying. But I said, okay, that's when I watched it last night again. And they kept saying, she called you Conwyn. No, it is not. I saw the tweets. And then when they go back and show the argument, she called her Fraudwyn. The Twitter person says Conwyn Fraudport, which is hilarious. Yo, these people, I swear. At any rate. I mean, could that have sparked her to come up with Fraudwyn? Sure, but it's not the same. That is not what she said. So, y'all weigh in the comments, let us know. Did y'all catch that?
I also think that, again, we'll talk. I know we're going to keep talking about it, but I just think that Lisa is just the easy target, right? Because you say, oh, well, Lisa, she knows things about everybody. Mm-hmm. Lisa this, Lisa that. The jeweler thing definitely did not help.
No.
But, like, if you say, oh, well, obviously it's Lisa that put this in, like, the blogs, everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, well, that's their thing. The thing is that they said Lisa's done it to all of us. She's done it to Whitney. Did she do it to Whitney? The whole Alibaba thing? Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
And then what was it that she did to Mary? Was it her that brought the guy that brought out the scandal about her church? It was. Yeah.
On camera.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty rough. Uh-huh. And then we all know that hot mic moment on Meredith. Good gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, listen.
But like I honestly I feel like the Whitney Alibaba rumors like came from like the viewers that were like, wait a minute, I definitely saw that before. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I do. And then, you had the blogger that was involved who then tried to denounce himself from all of it. I thought, boy, now you were all up in that. But I digress because I might see some of these people at BravoCon. So I'll keep my opinions to myself.
If you see Up and Adam, I mean,
I watch him. One thing about Up and Adam is he has some flawless skin. He makes me want to buy that mask. Mm-hmm.
He does have flawless skin.
Flawless.
But he's also a Teresa hater, so I don't like him.
Well, yeah, he is. That is true. He is. Yeah. Well, there's that. But all right, guys. So we're gonna get now into the dinner.
But before we get into the dinner, we have to address the unicorn in the room.
Oh, yes. Let's do it. Let us do that.
Because talk about cringy things that we see on TV, and we see a lot of cringy things.
We do.
The fact that Brittany brought this stuffed unicorn that Jared bought for her, which has like his like voice recorded on it when you like squeeze it, like
yes, it says what?
And is that really a 30-day break if you need this unicorn with his voice on it?
Then that's not much of a break. I mean, and it literally says something like, "Good night, baby. You are loved." I'm like, okay. I know. So yeah, let me make sure I don't miss anything major before we jump into dinner. I mean,
no, maybe just like the pre-dinner meeting. Because I really felt like, again, this is from like the first time, but Heather and Whitney, I felt like had Lisa's card, right?
Uh-huh.
They had it. They were on like the same page. I thought it was an interesting choice for them to bring Meredith in, knowing the relationship between Meredith and Lisa. I think it's a very odd choice.
I am so glad you brought that up, Joey. In trying to condense my notes, that was a big thing that I left out. But I want to talk about that because this is where things started to shift for me. Because it started for me to go from Heather being the MVP of calling someone out to her now orchestrating something.
And trying to like convince the other women. Yes.
There was a shift there because I thought, oh, okay, here we go. Now I'm seeing. So it was strategic to bring Meredith in. Her hope was that she could appeal to Meredith's distaste for things like that. You couldn't shake Meredith, though. Meredith and Lisa are in a really good place. They recommitted to their friendship. They don't, anything that they're going through, they're going to talk to each other, not behind each other's back. So it fell flat. But Heather was willing to confront Lisa with the hopes that if Meredith was on board, that then somehow that would make Lisa more receptive. But that's not what it was. Because
you're right. She already knew that it was Heather and Whitney, and they knew that they had Angie and Mary on their side, and Bronwyn.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, we don't really care about Brittany.
No, we don't.
They needed Meredith on their side to complete like the what would it have been? 6 versus 1?
Yeah. So there's that. But yeah, it came across as very calculating, very manipulative, in my opinion. So,
but at the same time, Meredith's blind loyalty to Lisa, it's very odd to me considering their past and just the past that we've seen.
You're right. You're 1000% right.
Other people, Meredith hears something and doesn't take a moment to like reflect and just flies off the handle.
Yep.
But here's like Lisa, and it's something very, very serious, and she is just a die-hard. sometimes I wish you would like leave some of like the lawyer talk like at home. Like you're not in like a courtroom, you're with like your friends. Because she's so strategic about the words she chooses and how she says things to like never incriminate herself or to be able to defend herself, but her blind loyalty to Lisa, considering their past, is very strange to me.
I agree. I mean, and let's be clear, y'all, she knows Lisa's capable of it. It's like she just would not give them anything because I guess, like you said, she didn't want it to fall back on her. So, and she did use a little bit of, well, listen, we'll just let her say it. She said, she used some word. I don't know, honey. She did do the lawyer talk a little bit, even there, backpedaling a little, not giving them what they thought that they were going to get from her. And I think it's also honorable to mention that Angie's still in her sick bed, that Captain Jason comes to visit her with ice. And I'm thinking, so ice helps seasickness? I don't know.
Maybe it's a trick of the trade that we're not privy to.
Maybe. I mean, they should know. They spend a lot of time out at sea. But he brings these ice packs or bags of ice and packs them up on her. I mean, Angie loves the love and attention. And you got Mary on the other side that's right by her side, which was very sweet. Because, honey, I can't do throw up. I could love you down, but I cannot. Even my children, I mean, when they were little, I had no choice. They're grown. They can't do it.
I know, but like not to be like TMI, sorry to like our viewers, but it was like that awful puking where like she couldn't eat, right? She had nothing in her system.
No.
So like that awful like convulsing just like bile coming out and like everything hurts and you can't like catch your breath, but really you're not getting any relief because you have nothing to vomit up.
Yeah.
The worst.
So bad. God.
And kudos to Mary. What a real one. Because not only did she stick with her puking friend the whole time, but she chose to have dinner in that room too.
Joey, right? Because I'm thinking, girl, ain't no way I could eat. I know someone been in there throwing up about 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm in there eating my food. Oh, and at any time I could hear her.
Especially someone like Mary.
I know, because she's so funny about things. So, honey, Angie, she loves you for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
For real. So, yeah. So, the ladies are all gathering for dinner. And Heather makes the announcement that, okay, ladies, we're all here -2 because, Angie is really seasick and she goes to Daisy and she's like, no, what's that called? And she's like, yeah, she hasn't developed her sea legs yet. That is a thing, y'all. That's the thing. Really. So at this point, Mary takes her dinner in the room, like we said, to be with Angie. And the other ladies at the table cheers to sea leg. And Heather, as they start to eat, says she misses Angie and Mary's commentary. And Brittany is like, I don't miss that. Or I don't miss Mary's commentary. No, don't nobody care what you miss, Brittany.
Honestly, yeah, we don't care about like your opinion, if we're being completely honest.
We don't. And then Heather says, Brittany, we have a rule. You can only shit talk someone if they're right in front of you. So what's so funny is, when I watched it again last night, my husband watched with me, right? He did not catch this piece of the conversation. He was so upset with Bronwyn for her reveal of what Brittany said. He's like, oh my gosh, Sherry, that's so messy. Why would a woman do that to another woman? Why would he? I was like, you did not hear her. This is the next thing. Brittany says that she's the only one that says what she feels to people's faces. And that's why. And I told him, I said, you missed that part because that's why Bronwyn bought it out. Because she was like, girl, there are people at this table right now you're mad at that you have said nothing to their face.
Yep. Brittany's her own worst enemy. And quick ADD moment. What about Andy Cohen saying that Brittany was the thirstiest housewife he's ever met?
It was good. It was so good. It was so good. God, it was good. Yeah, it was. It was good. Mm-hmm.
No lies detected. Let me tell you.
Not at all. Andy kept it real on that one. Mm-hmm. So y'all, they flash back. It looks like Brittany and Bronwyn are shopping or something. I don't even know where they were, but
which is bizarre to me.
I know. Like, so when did y'all start hanging out? Like, where was that? At any rate, looks like they were a little shopping trip. And Brahman asked her what's going on with her. No, she's telling Brahman about Lisa first. She said that Lisa's trying too hard to big sister her, and she doesn't need that. She can fight her own battles. And then I know, right?
We called that in episode 1. The reason you guys are all of a sudden so close is because Lisa loves a subordinate.
She does. She absolutely does. She's got to have a flunky. And yeah, you're her new appointee. And then to be messy, because you see Bronwyn look into the camera when she said that about Lisa. She was like, okay, what's going on with you and Meredith? What's the problem there? And Brittany says she hasn't seen Meredith yet without her having some sort of seizure of some sort. And she said she just didn't know why Meredith goes from 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds. She was like, it's almost like it's not even real. And Bronwyn was like, well, I feel Meredith's been very supportive of you, no? And Brittany's like, no. So that was the flashback. Producers do their job. So we're back at the table. And Bronwyn tells Lisa that Brittany says, let me just tell you what she says. And honey, Bronwyn got all into it because she was doing her head. She was like, let me tell you what she said. She said that you big sister her and she doesn't want your advice and it's BS. And then she tells Meredith that she said, you pretend to have seizures and you say words and go from 0 to 100 over nothing. And she thinks it's an act. She doesn't believe anything that comes out your mouth. And I was like, oh.
And you know me, I was like, yo, we are gearing up for a Meredith meltdown. I'm so excited. And you know what, though? It left me very disappointed.
I was waiting because I thought this is it. This is the time because she does not like Brittany. And it didn't still land.
No, it didn't. I wanted her to start screaming and spitting and her hands flailing all around and like that crazy look in her eyes. And we got nothing.
Nothing. I mean, we had a little water thing going. Because Meredith was like, pretend to have seizures. I've never had a seizure in my life, but that's a horrible thing to say about somebody. There are people that do have seizures and they're very serious, one of which was my child. So I find that to be despicable. And Brittany was about to say something about her child, and Meredith yells, I don't care. And she's like, see, y'all? See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about.
But Brittany, let me tell you, she's a brave woman because then she doubles down. She goes, see, this is like the seizure I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh my God.
She kept doing it. Every time Mary something, she's like, see, that's a seizure, y'all. That's the seizure. I'm like, girl. Yeah, hey, I'll give her credit, honey. She's not scared, but
no.
Meredith got up because I thought, okay, now here we go. She's going to go off. She throws the water or whatever. Brittany tries to come back. Meredith was like, boop. No, you're not. Boop. The water goes all over Bronwyn.
Meredith, dry as can be. Bronwyn must be soaking wet.
And I was like, well, Bronwyn, that's a little bit of karma for being messy. But you know what? I don't blame you. It was good to me. It was so funny. She did not get anything that she wanted out of Meredith. Meredith was like, girl, bye. Matter of fact, she's like, why don't you just disengage? She's like, you know what? How about that? That sounds great. I will disengage forever, girl. Bye.
I gotta give Brittany her props, though. The disengage comment was stellar.
It was. That was sharp, wasn't it?
Stellar. And it was just quick and off like the rip. It was so good. I'm on my couch and I was like, ooh.
Ooh, I know. Okay, so like Brittany, you know, she's formidable now. She's
and mind you though, this whole time, and this is why I'm excited for like the other side of like the crossover, is like these people are trying to like serve them dinner.
Oh, they were trying so hard.
And Meredith's like they're throwing water on each other and they're screaming, and I'm like, oh my God.
They're like literally with the plates, like, where do I put it? Like, this is the worst time. You know, we've said over this different episodes, every time they sit down to eat, it's been bad. We feel for the servers, y'all, the staff.
This was exceptionally bad for the servers.
It really, really was, y'all. It was bad. Yeah. So at this point, Heather goes into her typical monologue style thing. Here we go. It was very reminiscent of the whole Monica Garcia type thing to me. She says everyone at this table, we all need to own things in order to move on and have an open conversation. That's not a pile. This is not a pile. We are adult women. We are privileged women. We are living our best effing lives. And Meredith is like, honey, what's a pile on? She said, I said, I'm disengaging. And you got Brittany telling me I'm wrong. You got Brahma supporting me, Lisa supporting me. There's no gang up over here. Like, girl, nothing else to see over here. But we know what she's trying to get to, y'all. So Heather says if we're going to talk, we all need to own our things. What else do we need to own at this table? And Whitney on cue says, Heather, I think you need to own something. And Meredith too. And Meredith says, what? And Whitney says, the little conversation we had on our bed earlier. So Meredith's like, yeah, you guys should talk about it. And they were like, no, you were part of it too. And she
unfair.
Was like,
unfair. If I was a ref, I'm throwing a flag. That
Yeah.
is not an accurate representation of what happened at all.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. Yeah, they were trying to pull her in, and that's not it. She listened, and she was like, no, I'm not. I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that, and I don't believe that. And that's where Heather's like, I'm so disappointed by Meredith because she said she was trying to make grounds with Lisa, and she thought that maybe with the support of Meredith, it would go over better. At this point, she has no words. But my thing was, in the room, she gave you no indication she was going to back you up at all.
None.
So what are you confused about? I'm lost. And then Heather goes on to be dramatic and says she didn't care about anyone else outside the people seated at this table. And she wants to be real. She looks at Lisa and says, I'm just going to be honest with you. I think you're the source of all the dirt. Y'all, and let me tell you something.
I was not expecting her to come out so bluntly like that either.
Right, Joey? Because I was like, ooh. Because I keep thinking, girl, you do realize you're talking to Lisa Barlow, right? I mean, she just kept going at her like, and I was like, is it the alcohol? Is she trying for the moment? Because see, this is where it kind of started to me look like she's really going for a moment.
I'm really happy that you said that because when I watched it back last night, that was more of my mindset was I feel like, right, Heather has been chasing that season 5 finale moment.
Yes.
Ever since she had it, because that's what went to her head. And I feel like that's when she became like a real monster.
Yep.
And I feel like, right, at the end of the day, Heather is still a pick-me. Those self-esteem issues do not go away overnight. I don't care how much weight you lose, what plastic surgery you have. It's still like in here. And I feel like she must see the hate online. And she was, and it dawned on me during the rewatch. I said, she's trying to have the moment again. Yeah. Is this a self-produced moment? And is she lying?
I feel like, yeah, now. If you would have asked me before I watched it again, I would have said absolutely not. Heather is like top tier MVP. Somebody's finally holding Lisa accountable and, all of the things. But because of the way it went, Lisa repeatedly said, I did not do this. It was not me. Wrong girl. I wouldn't do that. I didn't do it. And Heather would not get off her neck.
No, yeah. And everyone's like, oh, Lisa lost her mind. She was like so defensive, blah, blah. If someone was accusing me of something so serious that I didn't do, I would lose my mind.
I would too. And the reason, and then where it started to really get like, because they were like, oh, everybody tells you everything. I mean, and she literally is like.
She didn't deny that though.
She didn't deny it. She says, I'm like the MF and Don of Salt Lake City, I guess. Because
maybe she is.
Weird. Yeah. She's like, she could be at wherever Harmon's is and she hears stuff. She can go get a Diet Coke and she hears stuff. Lisa said she can't, but she can't take this anymore. She was like, you guys shut the F up about me. I don't do anything to you. And then it's like tag team because Whitney walks over to her. Also, Joey, I do want to note there was a lot of physical aggression going on with those ladies. I was like, the walking up, Lisa putting her hands on Heather like this. And then at one point, I was like, ladies.
Meanwhile, we have to pause because Angie and Mary are still in their bedroom. And all I thought was, they are the lucky ones. Even Poor sick Angie, the lucky one.
They were so lucky. Mary was over there crunching on her food. Angie's like, it sounds crunchy. She's like, yeah. She's like, Mary, you're so blessed. She's like, I am. I hope they're really thankful for this food up there. I mean, they're just in like total peace, complete peace. And it is all kinds of chaos up there. They can hear it. They can't make out what's being said, but they can hear it because those ladies are going off, y'all. I mean, it just... Whitney says she's coming over to Lisa when Lisa is Whitney gets on my nerves sometimes with that because you of all people don't need to approach Lisa when she's that hysterical. She don't really like you, right? And she was like, no, I'm coming near you because we're not your punching bags. And Lisa's like, you know what? If I wasn't here, y'all would have no one to beat up. And then Lisa goes to Heather and looks her in her face and she's like, you're effing kidding me, right? Like you can see the disbelief in Lisa. Like she really was like, are we really doing this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, okay, that reaction, even though I agreed that she flies off the handle, she doesn't, own anything, and she can be delusional, but she seemed genuinely in shock and like, you're doing this to me. And maybe because it was Heather. And even her moment,
but I felt like it was different. I feel like normally when she's like screaming or whatever, even though she's like flying off the handle, she seems very like unaffected by what's being said around her. And she has this like arrogantly like confident thing where she's like, da, 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 da. This was a very different vibe. I feel like her words were different. I feel like the look on her face was different. And again, I had to watch it twice. So I'm curious for like our viewers, when they are going to comment or whatever, if they only watched it once, if they watched it twice, if they felt differently, like, because I felt very differently both times.
I did too. The first time I was like, go Heather. The second time I felt bad for Lisa. You could see hurt, genuine hurt. I mean, yeah, she'll bust out a cry, whenever, but it was like, I agree with you, Joe. It was different, At this point, there is a lot of yelling and Heather keeps telling her to sit down so we can talk. And Lisa's like, F you, Heather. And Daisy is telling the staff like they're literally killing each other up there. I mean, they were like, ooh. And y'all know
still trying to serve dinner, by the way.
They're trying. And Captain Jason was even going to sit down and have dinner with him. He's like, I am not touching that. Nope.
The chef came out and didn't even say a word. He tried to like introduce himself, talk about the dinner, and he just walked back inside.
Nothing, y'all. They had the staff shook. They're like, these women are crazy. Lisa does sit back down for, a little bit more. And she's like, look, y'all have called me a cheater. You call me effing Jen Shaw. What else are you going to effing say about me? You're lucky I even talked to any of you. And that's when she starts to cry. She's like, I'm sick of it. And Heather's like, I've been such a good friend to you. She looks at Meredith and says, well, Lisa looks at Meredith and said, if you didn't defend me, oh my God. You better have defended me or apologize now. Or say I'm effing sorry right now because I defended you. Heather says, you know what? To Meredith, don't be effing afraid of her. She's throwing her weight around right now. And then she goes like, F you, Lisa Barlow. And I'm thinking, ooh, see, this is what I'm talking about because there were unnecessary things. She was like bulking all up. Like, that's not even normal for Heather to go against Lisa. So, yes, I think she was trying to get her moment, y'all, because it didn't even require all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's more going back and forth, y'all. I mean, I could go through the whole conversation. I'm not. There was a lot of her saying, you did it. I still feel like you did it. Lisa vehemently denying that she did. At this point, Heather calls her a effing defensive effing bitch. You know all the dirt. She tells Lisa to say it to Brahma's face right now. And see, that's another statement. Don't you think like she's demanding her to admit it and admit it to her face right now? Who are you? I'm just like, Heather, I don't know. Okay. Heather goes, I'll say it. Grand larceny, identity theft, all of it. Lisa says, look, it's all over the internet. And Heather says, yeah, well, why don't you say it to her? And she's like, I am not responsible for what's on the internet. And she's not. Captain Jason goes to visit Angie and Mary, child. He's just like, And they're asking him what's going on up there and have they calmed down. And he was like, nope, I was like a ghost. I tried. No one saw me, Karis. I'm out of there. And Angie's like, well, you can come here. We'll pay attention to you. And so at this point, Lisa's like, okay, what do I need to say? And Heather says, you don't need to do anything, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think that you're the source of all the dirt. We're like, we know, Heather, you said it 20 million times. Like, over and over and over, relentlessly, you kept saying it. And then Lisa said, okay, then, I can't be your friend. And then Heather, shockingly, she's like, oh, are you effing kidding me? Like, no, girl, she don't want to be your friend if you're going to keep right on accusing her and she's telling you she didn't do it.
Yeah, what? Like, she was so shocked. I've been a good friend to you, blah, blah. What?
I know, Joey. Like
yeah, and you just threw it all away in this one moment.
There was one part I thought was really funny when Lisa got up again because she just couldn't take it anymore. And she goes up to Heather and she's like, I love how you're spinning this. You've got it spun. You spun. It's really you, Heather. You're the one that did it. You did it. And I was like, okay, that's a Lisa moment. Because then she took it and was like, I love how you're spinning this. I love how you're spinning this, Heather. It's you. It's you. It's you. You're the one that did it. And Heather's like, it's not spun. You're spinning it. And she calls her a moron, y'all. I think what really got Lisa the most is when Heather tells her to get off the effing yacht if she can't hear what she has to say. That's when Lisa was all the people's, y'all. And I was like, oh, you don't. That was bad. She said she was happy to go, but did you notice she came back to Heather and like, do you really want me to get off this yacht? And Heather was like, no, but.
I just like, what? How did Heather think this was going to go?
To me, being someone that actually knew Lisa, I have no idea. I am shocked that she thought it would go well at all. Other than she knew it would be an epic episode and that would be her moment.
And then
Lisa, yeah.
I loved like when Lisa like calls like John and she's like,
yeah,
these women like blah blah, I've never done anything to them and they're saying all this and da 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 and I need you to come get me, like I have to whatever da da. And Heather's like chasing her around like a crazy person and she's like, so what? Like, you know all this information, da 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 da. It's not like that bad. What?
I know. She's like, why can't you? Why is it so bad that you leaked?
Yeah, why is it so bad? Girl, you weren't accusing her of something as if it was like
the worst
an accolade.
It was so crazy, Joey. It was so crazy. Because then she tried to twist it like, bad, just admit it. I mean, so what, you leaked it? When before it was like a criminal offense in front of the ladies. I'm like, girl.
Yeah. It was so bizarre. Heather like chasing like Lisa around the boat. Like, what did you? Again, like, I just don't. I would love for someone to ask Heather, like, what did you expect? How did you think that was gonna go?
I would love to know too. And I'm sure she'll try to pull it back with some kind of politically correct answer. Like, I was just trying to get her to own it in this friend group. You know, we've hurt each other. And girl, no. I mean, you had that poor woman, a shell of herself, on the phone with her husband, sobbing, begging him to come get her. You know, at this point, she's like, Lisa in confessional says she thought that her and Heather had come really far. But for her to get back in this, to this, oh, Lisa's a villain, Lisa's a source of the bull-ish, it's ridiculous. And she says it's making her reevaluate their friendship. And she feels like she's being used, and it's awful. And let's be clear, y'all. We saw those that watched her on Watch What Happens Live. She got emotional, even speaking about it. The first few seconds that she was on the show. So that's not fake.
Although in true Watch What Happens Live fashion, Lisa still lost every poll.
Every poll, she was like, "Hey," but she said, "Listen, my fans don't vote; they just support." I was like, "Okay, girl," but y'all, pretty much, she's down there, y'all, at the end of this floating dock. Like, I'm thinking, should she even be sitting all the way down there by herself that upset? I mean,
I don't know. But you know what? That hot yachty was watching her to make sure she was safe.
that he was. Because, y'all, Brittany goes to try to console her. And that epically failed. She was like, girl, I don't want anybody to touch me. I don't want you here. And she's like, well, can I hug you? She's like, no, I don't want you to touch me. Whole time, y'all, she still got that phone there. She ain't letting John go, okay? I mean, John's her person. That's clear. And John was like, don't be sad. And I mean, he was trying to calm her down to no avail. She was torn out in the frame and just crying. And I felt really bad. But y'all, let me just say this. So the way that the scene basically ends, Heather decides to go visit Angie and Mary's cabin for some reinforcement. Okay? She comes into their cabin crying. Now, keep in mind, they don't really know what's going on. Not really. I mean, and so she's going to now spin it as, I've tried to be such a good friend to Lisa. And I basically was trying to tell her that she needs to own it, that she's the one that's behind leaking all this dirt. Of course, Angie K's gonna be down. She's like, yeah, I mean, she did it. And Mary's like, yeah, I mean, she more than likely she did it. And they were telling Heather they were proud of her, for standing up to Lisa. And then Mary was saying, real friends can tell their friends when they're wrong, and a real friend should be able to take it. She basically asked Mary for some advice, or she said, what should she say to Lisa? And Mary said, tell her you were telling the truth, and just say, I'm being a real friend, and I'm telling you how I feel, and I'm telling you how we all feel, because she said we all feel it and we all know it. Well, that's all she needed, because she was like, you know what, I'm carrying this for all of us now, y'all. She leaves out that cabin now with new confidence, determined to find Lisa. Of course, she runs into Brittany, who, of course, knows where Lisa is, because Lisa just waved her away, did not want to be touched. And, yeah, they are on their way down for her to try to talk to Lisa. Meanwhile, I will say Whitney got her little tour of the yacht unaffected. So there's that. But, y'all, it pretty much ends where Brittany's taking Heather to Lisa, and we'll see. Next episode looks like it is going to be a banger. People coming after husbands. Somebody says something about Todd, about Seth. Listen, but we still see Lisa, so I guess she doesn't go.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, you might hurt her in the moment. No one's scaring Lisa Barlow away from anything.
Particularly not a yacht. What you mean?
Nope. She ain't leaving this free vacation.
Absolutely not. And can I say, I don't blame her. I wouldn't either. A yacht with your preference sheet? No, ma'am. Nope, couldn't do it. But y'all, I just want to know, what did y'all think of the episode? There is so much to unpack here. Do you think that Heather was taking more of the team and really confronting Lisa, holding her accountable, or do you think that was Heather seeking her moment? Oh gosh, what else do we have out? What are the other things we want to know? I don't know. What did y'all think of the episode? Period. I mean, and how are y'all enjoying it? I think some people say that they're tired of seeing them sit at tables and argue, but to me, it's wildly entertaining. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, look at what else we're dealing with, right? Potomac is so boring right now that I didn't even watch last week and had no idea until I was gonna watch this week's episode. I was like, oh, I guess I have 2 to watch. And I watched them because we're too far invested now, but I'm bored.
It is boring. It's boring. This Sunday, the first time I watched, I didn't even pay any attention. And then I started seeing people saying, oh, the girl showed up. Everybody was reading. So I went back and watched it again. Okay, it was a little better. But I'm very bored of Ashley and Giselle now with the Stacey thing. It's in the beginning, I thought, okay, Stacey's lying. But now it's okay, enough. Okay, she's maintaining with her story. What else are we doing? And Stacey's it's not anything like they thought, because the fans aren't Stacey.
No, and I had like a real like awakening moment because I've always been like a Giselle fan. I just have. I think she's funny. I think she's like outrageous. I'm like here for it, but I'm starting to like wake up to like Giselle is actually the type of housewife that I normally hate. She is the Heather Gay. She is the Margaret Joseph. She is the housewife that really has nothing going on. And she's just a shit stirrer. And then I was like, wait, I can't believe that I was like a fan for so long. And I still, part of me really does like her. But I'm like, I don't know why, because she has all the traits of a housewife that I normally hate.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's one we will definitely have to agree to disagree on. And she's gotten worse back to her old ways because now she has Ashley. She's got another flunky. You know, when the first season without Robin, she was a lot more tolerable. She's linked up with Ashley, and so now she's got another one. They're not the green-eyed bandits. They're what, the light-skinned bandits? I don't know.
Yeah,
really. It's sickening, and it's childish, and it's overtly messy. Like she's like, all right, we're going to talk about this. But I'm going to try to get through the season. One thing we do over here now, we will recap a reunion. So you will definitely get that. I'm not going to do all the episodes. We'll do the reunion. Which brings up, we will soon be on to Orange County. Are you excited to recap that reunion? Looks are looking good.
I mean, it does, but at the same time, I feel like it was like it really was like a flop of like a season.
Oh,
so
horrible.
I'm like, how great can like the reunion be? And then I'm like, are you gonna give us 3 parts of this like
they're gonna try
blase season? Like, I don't know.
You know they're gonna try. They always squeak out 3 when they don't need to. But anyway, I mean, we'll watch it, y'all, and we'll bring you what we can. What they're giving, we'll give it back.
Yeah.
We'll try. So So any final words, Joey?
No, that's it. We have the OC finale tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been keeping up with Special Forces?
No, after Teresa left, I stopped.
Dude, our girl Gia is just like so impressive.
Oh, okay.
Like, I am like honestly like blown away.
Okay, I'm gonna have to catch up then.
You take the girl out of Jersey. You can't take the Jersey out of the girl. She is strong. Let me tell you, mentally, physically, I'm impressed. I mean, yeah.
Okay, I'm here for that. So I'll have to go back and catch up on that. Okay, all right, got you. I'll be prepared to discuss next week.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you so very much for tuning in. We will be back next Thursday, same time, right here live. So join us again, and we'll be talking all things Bravo and, of course, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So you guys have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.